Hi, Mark, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views report on German politics. And today I have to talk about an old fight flaring up again, and that is between members of the same government. With her push for a speed limit on German autobahns, Environment Minister Steffi Lemke from the Greens has sparked a renewed debate on the subject. The coalition partner FDP, that's the Liberals, criticized this as brazen. I would like Ms. Lemke to reform the climate protection law quickly. Then we no longer have to discuss symbolic measures. That was said by Christian Dürr, he's chairman of the FDP parliamentary group. The effect of a speed limit is so small that we wouldn't get any closer to climate neutrality, he said. And the deputy leader of the FDP parliamentary group, Carina Konrad, invited the environment minister to talk about effective climate protection. Almost every day a new speed limit proposal greets from the ranks of the Greens, said Konrad. That's not only bold because it's excluded in the coalition agreement, but also doesn't change the fact that the manageable climate impact of a speed limit is rather negligible. In an interview with a German press agency, the environment minister had previously called for more efforts to be made to protect the climate in traffic and brought up a speed limit on motorways, also Autobahn. A speed limit could make a significant contribution to climate protection, said Lemke. According to calculations by the Federal Environment Agency, a nationwide general speed limit of 120 kilometers per hour on Autobahn would reduce total CO2 emissions from passenger cars and light commercial vehicles by around 2.7%. With a speed limit of 100 kilometers per hour, the reduction would be almost 6%. The environment minister said that the federal government had set ambitious goals for the expansion of electromobility. But that alone will not be enough to achieve the climate goals in transport, and if a climate protection measure cannot be implemented quickly enough, then that inevitably increases the pressure on others. The climate crisis will not allow itself to be negotiated. Well, but they signed that contract, huh? Her predecessors from the Social Democrats had already advocated a speed limit for more climate protection, said Lemke. Lower Saxony state government would also welcome the introduction of a speed limit on the Autobahn. We can well imagine that, was said by the spokeswoman for Prime Minister Stefan Weil from the Social Democrats in Hanover. However, she emphasized that this is the responsibility of the federal government. But at the federal level, the coalition partner FDP in particular rejects a general speed limit on German Autobahn. And the coalition agreement between the Social Democrats, the Greens and the Liberals also states there will be no general speed limit. Traffic is considered a problem child when it comes to climate targets. In the sector, legal requirements for CO2 savings for 22 were missed, and emissions increased slightly compared to the previous year. Actually, Federal Transport Minister Volker Wissing from the Liberals should present an emergency program by mid-July if the new climate protection law does not apply by then. The heads of the so-called traffic light coalition had agreed on a reform of the climate protection law. So far, individual ministers have had to submit an emergency program every year if they fail to meet climate targets that are their responsibility. In the future, according to the coalition committee's decision paper, the federal government should make adjustments on the basis of the proposals of the mainly responsible ministries if it becomes apparent in 2 consecutive years that the climate target for 2030 will not be achieved. And Lemke also said, now it depends on the specific design of the amendment to the Climate Protection Act. It is of no use if the law and its goals have no practical consequences. Therefore, as long as the previous Climate Protection Act is in force, the obligations remain that if the annual climate protection goals are not achieved, the responsible ministry must submit an emergency program by July 15th. And this concludes my report on German politics for this week. Tomorrow you'll see my report on the UK. And if you want to see any other reports, there's a new video here in the end screen. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.